Okay, this is a very weird video. When I started it was 11 p.m. Now it's midnight on the 10th of August 2022. So 1 year ago. And there you can see my recent uploads. I think this is the best way to show what current time it is. I actually just finished a video that is amazing. Look at this title. Gura from Hololive is back to attack and smack your crack. Isn't this an amazing title? I think it is. I love it. It's not great for YouTube, you know, to be found or keywords or so, but I think I will laugh about this when I see this video in the future. So yes, this video is supposed to be released in exactly 1 year. And the point of this video will be something weird. And despite everything that I will say, I want to say something first. I love doing YouTube. I highly enjoy it. And there is pretty much nothing that I've worked at or that I could imagine that I would enjoy more. But, as with all kinds of things, there are certain downsides that come with it, or possibilities, or risks. And I'm an analytical person, okay? I'm a numbers person. I love writing down stuff, calculating stuff, analyzing stuff. And this is where YouTube is a bit problematic, where you can start going down a rabbit hole, where you read too much into things, or you just keep reading. You don't take your time off, which is very important. Up to a degree where every morning I woke up, I would open the studio app that we are in right now, but this is on computer, talking about my phone, and just check everything, you know, comments, analytics, video performance, and stuff like this. So what is this video about? Well, I will rant. I will vent. I will release everything that is slightly negative or on my mind and get rid of that for the future. I rewatched some of my live streams. Now, to be fair, they are like 5 to 8 hours long, so it's not like I watched everything. But I noticed when I talk about concerns, I sound like I'm negative. While I'm actually not negative, I view it as being realistic. However, if something works out, if all plays out, then there's no reason to make a plan about it, right? Because everything is going well. Sure, make a plan as in I don't spend the money and instead I save it or I invest it into something that is reasonable, you know, the typical one, so not like gambly stuff. But things for the downtimes, yes, of course. But in general, like the amount of thoughts that I put into scenarios are probably 90%, 95% negative scenarios to deal with them. And this video here will be an entirely uncut video. I just realized that while I stopped talking to think. I should not do that, you know? Hey, go away. Goodbye. This will be an uncut video. So you will hear me stutter and you will hear me do whatever. I have to be a little bit careful with that. Because usually I do it in a different style. Okay, I'm rambling, I'm sorry. So yeah, Hydex in 1 year. This is what it looks right now. These were your concerns, and hopefully some of these disappeared or you managed to deal with them. Now, as you can see right now, my pretty much all the analytical things, views, comments, dislikes, they are turned off. And for this video, I will turn them on, and I will also show my dashboard, which includes my views and the subscriber count, the performance of the last 28 days, as well as my earnings. Since this will be important later on to explain some of my issues. Now, Vampire Survivors started in the middle of January. In fact, it started on the 18th of January. This is the first public video of Vampire Survivors. Before this, I also had some other streams uploaded because I used YouTube as a VOD archive before I went over doing some serious stuff, you know, extra videos. And if you go down, you can see this is the page with video number 401 to 450. So, since the middle of January, I've uploaded around 420 videos about Vampire Survivors or where they started, and that is a solid number. Divided by 7 months, that is roughly 60 videos a month or 2 videos a day, which sounds less impressive since gaming channels tend to upload a lot, but do this straight for 7 months, you know? It's like not a lot of fun. Now, I did have some downtimes and days. This is also not like, I'm not saying I did every single day 2 videos, but just in general, a huge volume. And there's a dashboard. This is what it looks like for me. By the way, hi Loli. Welcome there. I hope you're still there in 1 year. And I would just say, let's turn off adblock. This is what I use to block the elements and refresh. So, these are my channel stats. We are right now at 32,201 subscribers. We got 3K in the last 28 days. Solid number. Very strong decrease, but it's still a solid number. 1.3 million views. Very strong decrease. Okay, this one is the one that probably hurt the most, since I was on 2.3 million views, but I was fully aware that the hype of Vampire Survivors is going down, and still having 1.3 million views while uploading less videos is very solid, you know. This month I went down to 60% at work. That means I don't work for 2 days. Didn't work out as planned or hoped, because those 3 days are now more stressful than previous 3 days of a work week. However, it's less stressful than 5 work days, okay? Now down here you can see the earnings. Since this is for 28 days, a month is roughly below 4K right now. And while this sounds very good for some, and trust me, as a side income, this is amazing, it is simply impossible for me to upkeep the workload that goes into YouTube, which sounds stupid to some. I know the people that meme on this and say you just play games and you know, you love the time you do what other people have as a hobby, as something that gives you money that other people do for fun. Well, you know, once you get to the point where you're tired of a game, but your audience only loves that game, so you keep playing it, or stuff like this, you know, where you don't decide based on fun, but based on analytics, you're very quickly away from that. And suddenly it's work, where you just have to turn off and you just have to view it as your work. I think in general this is very important on YouTube, to do it this way, and I have been very bad at this, but mostly because I've been exhausted, very much exhausted lately. And I hope this will recover now, with August being the first month where I went down. The last week has been a blessing overall, but I used the 2 days to pretty much relax and just calm down, you know? It's like pretty much a mini holiday for me, mini vacation. And the other thing is, I want to use at least one of those 2 days for my girlfriend, since we used to do something daily, and since YouTube, we have maybe done something once a week, if even, since I stop working, and then I do YouTube, and then I go to sleep. That was my cycle. So let's talk about the money a bit, because you need to understand how it is in Germany to understand the reference here, you know, because per country that you're in, this number will either look incredibly good, or incredibly bad, or just on average. So in Germany, as I said, it's around 4K that you earn per month. So this is what you would like to have. Now, not everyone needs that much, but I would say a minimum is around 2.5K, 2.2K, 2.5K. I think for me to just pay everything and all the expenses, I would need around 2.5K, I would say. But then I have nothing left at all. And it's so weird, because I constantly try to pause and think. And then I realize I want to make this uncut. You know, it's a bit weird. No, so to continue, everything works different with YouTube money. The taxation works different. It can be higher in most cases. It can be lower though, because if I bought when I bought my computer here, I will be able to write this off, and that computer costs 3K. This is just a tax return that I get, right? So in cases like this, I will get money back, which is amazing since it's work related. But I have other things like higher taxes, and I have to pay for private insurance. Then other social things like, well, what is it called? The rent that is usually paid by your employee will no longer be paid, that I have to take over. And overall, there are a lot of things that decrease your income by between 40 to 60%. Now, 40% is normal in Germany for taxation and extras that come on top of it. Taxation is around 20-ish%, and the rest is the other 20%. But once you have income like here from YouTube, it's more difficult. You might notice that I don't say a solid number because it's difficult. It jumps around, but overall it's worse, or can be worse in most of the cases, unless you get a huge tax return. Now, this is the beauty and the curse of YouTube. You have unlimited amounts that you can earn. Like, just as a reference, at 2 million this would be around 6K, pretty much on spot actually, 6K. And I checked out Penguin's Charlie Moist Critical recently, the channel, because I was curious how many views is he getting. He's a very large channel, you know, but his monthly views were 200 million. Like, just take the 6K, multiply this by 100, this is what he earned, plus minus, because it's not on YouTube that you get an average amount of money per views. This is dependent on the channel and the viewers that are watching you, the length of the video and stuff like this, how many ads can be shown. But all in all, you can expect that he is over 100K per month, pretty much. But this also depends on factors where if he would say I earn 20K, I would say, okay, that's far off, but I could see it why. Because of claimed videos, reaction videos. I'm rambling, did you notice that? So the point that I want to get at is, the views have been going down drastically. This has to do with my performance, but also, Vampire Survivors has been losing hype. It's not extreme, but it's dangerous. Now, if we take a look at my content, we will see a split up. Let's ignore these views were just uploaded today, and if I go on them, like this one 3.7k, actually has 4.9k, not amazing, but you will notice something, the subscriber amount is relatively low. You know, 7 for a single video is horrible. And the reason is, the market is saturated. Not by saturated. Yeah, saturated, I think. Or saturated, well, whatever. The point being, there are pretty much not enough new Vampire Survivors interested people coming in, which is a problem. That means eventually I will lose more people, not as actual subscribers, but people that watch my videos out of loss of interest for the game, than I will gain new people watching me. And this will amplify the longer the entire thing goes on, and that is my concern. That is my main concern with this entire thing. As you can see, other games, this one 3k, ouch. Then we have this one, 7.8k, that is very respectable for not being Vampire Survivors content. 5k, also very respectable. 7k down here, also very respectable, but I think you get the idea that the views of them are, generally speaking, a lot lower. Like, a lot. In comparison to Vampire Survivors, usually the worst videos get at least 11k. This one here did very poorly. I'm not even sure exactly why it performed so poorly. But, like, even this one, the worst one of Vampire Survivors, has 11k views. You know, and this is pretty much equivalent to the 3.5k here. Now, this is from an update. Update videos usually get a lot of views, so we can't really take them in. This was a casual 100k in these few days. This is how crazy updates become in Vampire Survivors, view-wise. And usually over time, it then returns back to normal, like a 19k. This is still hyped up, obviously, but yes. I don't know why I just talked about this so much in detail, but I think the point that I wanted to make is the views will go down. And it will be a lot more harder to maintain an amount of money that I could live off of without going into more work, because the plan is actually to have less work, right? I want to reduce the work so I can focus on YouTube and say, I hope this can be my full-time job. And, well, losing money and views is obviously not very beneficial. Now, my expectation for the future, and Dex, stay strong, you can do it. I mean, you will see how many subs I have right now, or rather how many people usually watch my videos. These personal videos don't tend to be very good performance-wise, so I don't expect that a lot of people will see this one. But as I said, it's rather a message to myself, and since it's channel related, I want also that people can see it, because I tend to be very open about stuff. What I expect is, I will go into a U form, you know, imagine a U in the air, or maybe rather a V, where it goes down, it will fall down, I will go sub 1 million views a month, maybe even sub 500k, who knows. I really hope it doesn't go further. And then I managed to pick up other games and get more people into watching general videos, variety videos, not just limited to Vampire Survivors, but whatever game I upload, it will be watched. That is my big hope. I think my goal is to achieve something like what Dangerously Funny has, where he tends to upload random games, and depending on how they perform, he uploads more or less, but he constantly changes what he uploads videos about, and I enjoy this the most. With this thing, and this is the concerning part, there are multiple issues that I have right now, which is, I'm mainly playing Vampire Survivors, or this is where the most people came from, and a lot of people also came here because I'm very knowledgeable. You know, I don't want to say I'm absolute professional, but I would consider myself an expert at Vampire Survivors with the knowledge and the skill that I have. Without wanting to sound arrogant, but like, come on, I have what do I have? I have 901 hours in the game. since January. You would expect that I do have some knowledge about this, right? Or some skill. And at least people told me that this is why they're here, and this is also why they don't really like watching other games, because there, I'm a beginner. I have no idea, and it's not Vampire Survivors. All the things that they came for are not the things that they want to see in other games, because it doesn't fit. And that's a problem, you know? But I hope I can convince myself over to, instead of viewing this as a downfall, I will view this as a head start. Changing over to something that will be more reliable. Like, I know some people say just continue with Vampire Survivors because people enjoy it and love it. Hey, the growth on these videos is horrible. If we go down here, update videos usually got me beyond 100 subs. In fact, usually on update days, I would get 600 subs or so. And let's check out the update videos. Where were they? I think up here. Just to give you a comparison on this entire thing. Okay, I had to make a cut there because this was very long. So this video here, 77 subscribers. Okay. So if you make the math, this is the first video. Keep in mind, 600 is the goal. This was the first video. Here is a second video. That is a birdie. 68. Okay. We crossed 100, which is great. But it's very far off from the 600, right? And especially the fall down this time was very hard. Here's this Arcana broke Vampire Survivors, where it was literally broken. 33k views, 32 subscribers. Ouch. Ouch. You know, this is usually what it looks like. The update titles, they bring in a lot new people. You know, this is why the other video looked so bad. I think this one here with 7. Or 6, I guess. But overall, the growth went back a lot. I think this is the message that I want to get over. And I have to change something. And this is what I want to do in the future. I want to change over to a style that Dangerously Funny has. He was in fact the one that inspired me a lot with my channel, which you might have noticed back then in the days. With my early thumbnails, they are very similar to the ones that he had, with a single background color, and then something is in the center as a focus. Now these thumbnails here were trash, okay? I tried something myself, didn't work out too well, but you will see this often with the single color background and then something is in the foreground pretty much. This is where I got this from. This doesn't mean I copied it one-to-one, right? Because these are still very different compared to his if you compare them. But, yeah. I hope I can get there. Obviously not the 200 to 500k views that he gets per video. I don't expect this in 1 year. And I will also not make a prediction of what I think how many subscribers I will have, since I do expect that a lot of people will leave. And it would be a bit lazy to just say, let's take the 3,000 times 1 year, subtract the half, and that's it. The point being, my real hope and my real thing that I want to get out of the system is, I hope for the best. I love doing YouTube. It is a ton of fun. I wish it could be my full-time job, just because I enjoy it so much to create videos, to get feedback on them, to see people that enjoy them, and even have some people that got help out of them, you know, in very bad times or something like this. And it's just something that I would love doing for the rest of my life. However, the rest of my life is a very long period, and you might understand why I'm so concerned about this, because this is literally me. This is my life. If I commit to YouTube and it goes downhill, then I may lose a lot of things. And on the other side, if I do not commit to YouTube at all, then I will break apart eventually, or I will tune down YouTube to a degree where I think I'm hurting myself so much, my chances, this one-time blessing that I got from YouTube with the algorithm in the beginning to boost my channel, that I lost my chance there. And I don't know which of these 3 scenarios is the worst one, because all 3 of them I think will have major bad impact if they happen. So I just hope that YouTube works out, that when this video gets uploaded, I'm still doing this, and you're enjoying my videos, and I'm enjoying doing them, and I can't wait to see where I am there, but I gotta be honest, I'm scared of it, and yeah, I hope for the best, and I'm out.